What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Oh, yeah. I know all of you have been waiting. I know that you guys were like, dang, where's Heat Override? Y'all doing like 4 podcasts a week. Yeah. Well, I had to have my tournament. I had to go to my point fighting tournament, had to go represent the team. We'll talk about that in a second, man. But let's get to it. Are you ready to bring the pain? Oh, yeah. So this one right here, we're gonna go right at it. I got my new Locksmith album today, and he signed it. It's kind of a thing. He was doing physical copies, and he was like, I'll autograph every one of them. So if you don't know who Locksmith is a rapper, lyricist that I have followed for a very, very long time. I have talked about him completely. In matter of fact, I moved Ice Cube out of like my top 5 favorite rappers for Locksmith. And literally, Locksmith is practically at this point my most listened to favorite rapper, like right now. I know a lot of you go, well, who's Locksmith? I don't know who Locksmith is. Well, you need to know who Locksmith is, right? So I ran across Locksmith at first when he did the Yo MTV rap battles, right? And he went off against Rayman. And Rayman goes by something else now. I just didn't follow his career. I followed Luck. Luck hit me. And he went right into, what was it? Frontline with his boy Left. And that's what I got when I first heard What Is It? And I talked about this on my rap podcast and everything when I did Lock and I brought him in and, went over his music. But man, I cannot tell you, I have not been able to find a better rapper. So, like, when people go, oh, well, I'm going to be on Cardi B or I'm going to be on this, well, that's fine. You can love your popular stuff. I don't like popular stuff because popular stuff is owned by popular people and popular people suck, right? We'll get to that too in this episode. So, that being said, for me, I need substance. I need, like, when I talk about Spice One and the way he would go through his bars back in the day and how they would trip me out. And mind you, this is before I knew what beer was. I wasn't even old enough. And he was putting me in mindgasms when I was just a regular dude playing video games. Like, I mean, do you want that's what you want? But it also his corny ass raps when he would say some stupid stuff and then make some weird ass songs. It's just funny stuff, right? So, Locksmith has really filled that. And literally, Spice One is dropping a new album right now. I got new music from DJ Magic Mike. So if you haven't seen, dude, he's got 2 songs right now. And he's got a song in the top 10. You have to go buy these songs. Just type in DJ Magic Mike. Look at the date. Get it, right? And you're getting all this. And out of nowhere, Elite Force drops a new album. So literally, I buy Elite Force's album. And then I go pre-order Locksmith's album, and I got Mike's music, and I'm just like, man, it's just so wild right now that music. And I want to bring up music for a reason because music to me is healing. Music is the life for a lot of people, and there are people in this world that don't even listen to music. I don't know how these people actually exist. It's like they're like some fallen angel, have no emotion. Like they're really a cyborg. Maybe these people are cyborgs, or maybe they're just lizard people. Oh, lizard people. Anyway, I don't even know. Hey, so these people, you don't like music. I don't even know what's up. That's why I'm so deep into my VGM music right now. That's why you're seeing podcast after podcast, and I got stuff, and I keep talking about it, right? Because I have so many podcasts coming up. Because eventually when I go into football, it's all going to be a lot of football, and I'm gonna, not be able to do a lot of the podcasts that I want to do. So we're gonna get to that as well too, because there are podcasts that are coming up that I want to do that I'm going to give you guys a lot of insight. So yeah, head over to Locksmith, thelocksmith.com, I think it is, or just go to his Facebook Locksmith, go to the Facebook DJ Magic Mike fan club, buy these songs, buy these albums, get there, support. I'm not asking you to support somebody who's already making millions of dollars or, is around and might just, piss people off. I'm telling you to go support people that actually put meaning into their music, that put life into their music, that actually make music. Oh man, but the karate tournament went, with some learning experiences. So I moved up in a division. I went to advance. I faced off against there was 4 other brown belts, and I fought 2 of them. You know, they dropped something that they was going to be black belts by summer. So, my deal is I actually, I took a loss. I beat one. So I beat one and I lost the one. I lost the one because I was a little overzealous. It was my first fight. And I'm kind of like, I'm a warm up fighter. So for like fighters out there, like I need to like feel around, get hit a couple times. And then, I work into a groove. I'm a 2-minute point fighter, right? So I could go 3 minutes too. Don't get it wrong. TKO for life. Yeah. So it just at that point, like you kind of give up a few things, you get into your groove before you know it was too late. And I've played under this format, but I never played under the format that was so strict. Restricting head blows literally took all of my game out. And you're like, Rob, why you want to punch people in the face? Does that say anything right there? Bring the pain. Like I'm a point fighter who has a podcast called Bring the Pain. I talk massive shit towards NFL players or players that suck at fantasy football, fantasy baseball, or come up short on bets because I want to. And it doesn't matter if the other people are scared. It's nobody else's view. It's how I felt towards that moment at that time. That's how you bring the pain, right? So with that, you can feel my energy. Ooh, yeah. Because tonight, Jay's on. So I'm going to be in Club Unity tonight. You can check that out on Twitch. Tomorrow's 808, right? So you have to get there. DJ Magic Mike, 808 Wednesday. Yeah. So we're bringing it. So when we get back to it, so the guy, it was pretty much that, I congratulated him. I was like, dude, I've never been, taken apart like that. But he didn't really take me apart because when I watched the video back, there were kicks and calls not made on my half. And it's because the 2 judges were on his side and I had a judge on my side. So where all my blows would have landed, there was only 1 judge to see it. So when 2 judges signal one way, another judge signals the other way, I lose the point. So I don't lose that fight. I don't lose that fight because the next guy, I just dusted him. And that's what happens is that's the type of fighter I am. But I'm also that type of fighter that now this dude thinks he's got a win on me. And he was my first loss in almost a year and a half. I ain't going to say nothing, but I'm going to tell you this right now. You're not going to beat me to the point next time. I won't even go for your head. I'm going to slam your body the whole time. It won't matter if you kick. It won't matter. I'm too strong. I'm just going to slam your body the whole time. And when I'm done, I'm going to be the winner. And then you could go get your black belt, right? So I'm hoping to get that black belt, dude, before I get there. Because I just want him to know. I don't know, because I ain't going to be able to fight him for the next 2-3 years. 3 years probably when I'm a black belt. And that's if he's still, fighting. You don't even know if I'll be fighting then. It could be some crazy thing, Sorry about that. So at the same time, I learned my lesson. Then I went out there and I put out a great kata, and I was like, all right. But then I watched the video back and I saw my fists were a little slow. So I did not play. I placed in that. I got my third, but that's okay. Because guess what? That dude that beat me, he also beat me in that too. His kata looked great. I give a man his props. That kata looked really good. I was like, dang, he went before me. I was like, oh man, he might beat me. I just been doing so much. My brother passed away, so I haven't really had a lot of time to like practice. I came off of a concussion. So I have just been kind of a wreck in a way, but like my regular life and everything else is great. But it's just like I just haven't been able to be in the dojo with my mind straight. And when I am, I'm usually angry. I'm hitting the bag and I'm not, going technique. That's why this dude was getting head blowed. I was just like, boom, right? But I gave him that last punt. I got it. I got you. All right, let's move it along. Ooh, ooh. So I just did a podcast on support your people. And I saw a post today because, I'm going to weigh in on things. That's what I do. As a podcaster, as a reporter, I weigh in. I give my opinion. You could agree or you don't have to agree. It doesn't matter. You can be happy about the comment or you can be sad about the comment. You can be mad. Maybe the comment's about you. Maybe it isn't. So when I saw my buddy out there talking about his wife and being a woman, a business owner as a woman and a business owner as an international, woman, because she came from overseas, she got her visa, she built her business, and she did it the right way. And this dude's an amazing jazz artist in our community. He does so much. And so they have a beautiful family. They have an art gallery, and she makes all of her art, jewelry, everything. It's just beautiful, right? So he was like, well, why does nobody support her for being a women's business owner? Why doesn't that clique in Erie, which I know exists because I used to work for a place that was owned by a woman, and she made it very apparent that she was part of that clique, right? But why does that clique turn their backs on people? And that's because people don't like to support people no matter what you do. They don't care. People only care until you're popular. And if you're not popular at the time, if you're not the Kool-Aid or whatever, they ain't drinking you. They ain't doing nothing. They don't care. And it doesn't matter how much they support. It shows in multiple podcasts. You know, I don't want to pull anything out or anything out, but there's a best podcast in Erie every year. But every year, most of the time, the same podcast, which is a great podcast, Idiotville, wins it. But in my opinion, when you don't put out a podcast for almost, or you put out one podcast in 5 or 6 months, you don't have the right to claim best podcast. That's just my opinion. It's no knock to the crew. They're an amazing crew. But I think that, life happens. And that's why when you see all these podcasts from me, I have a day job, just like Dr. Roto knows that. And that's why that's a big thing about Dr. Roto. We're about the people. We're one of the cheapest fantasy, you know, sports industry in the thing. Like, we give out the content, we give out everything. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get caught up on myself. And, so we're giving out DFS bets. We're giving out seasonal bet or seasonal teams. We're helping you draft, right? We're doing it for way less than anybody else. And our staff is really cool. But our staff also is a bunch of full-time people like me. I'm a full-time guy. I have a family. I have karate. I don't have a lot of time, but I always make time for my podcast because that is who I've become now. It is more than just, the Planet Painbringer that I bring up a lot. But I think that when you have a business and you're putting it out there and you don't get no support from your family or friends, and I brought this up, it almost sound like a record that my boy Josh from Toys from Low, he says it and he doesn't care. He goes, look, they will support you or they don't support you. Never be scared to share your business. Never be scared to step up. I mean, she should be recognized as a women's business owner. She's an amazing person. And her husband is a longtime friend of mine. I worked with him. That's how I first met him. And we've always been really cool. And one day he's going to be on this podcast. We've talked about it. We just have so many crazy different schedules. And with it, with that gallery being hours, retail hours, that's big. So he doesn't get a lot of time. So, when you see people like that and they just go, he goes, so her reply was that I don't need to have those merits. I don't need those accolades. I let my work do the talking for me. And that is exactly what I do with Bring the Pain as well. Yes, I call people out. And every time I call people out for not supporting their people, I call them out for them, for anybody else that needs that support. I have my support. I have a circle. I don't have a really strong like city presence because that's just owned by a lot of people. I can't eat at these people's tables. I don't care to. I'm not their cup of tea. I am the pain bringer. These people care about their stock, they care about their bank, and they care about where they're going next week. But I don't. I know I'm going to work. I know that I'm podcasting and I know that I'm kicking ass at karate, right? So as I'm putting in all that hard work, it just goes to show that sometimes people do need support. And that's what leads to cliques. So when I was at this job that I was talking about with a former women business owner, she, we had this huge party. And when I was at that party, I could see all the cliques. I could see this clique right here. I could see that clique right there. And you go, a lot of people want to be in that clique. Some people give up everything, their family, their happiness. They work 80 to 90 hours at a job that doesn't give a shit about them. Because honestly, employers can always say, we care. Yes, the local employers care because they know they can't afford a lot of employees like the big stores. So they have to be kind to their employees. They have to try to work through bad times. They have to work. Some people go through ruts in their life and some jobs can't deal with that. Some jobs have no patience. Some jobs would just rather hire somebody $3, $4 less an hour so that they can keep their wages down. And that's exactly what happened to me. And the thing goes, well, how do you make up that? How do you, why is this all this click talking and that? Because clicks led to Planet Painbringer. On Planet Painbringer, I am the boss. I do me and my people. When I see somebody on Planet Painbringer, you bet on my podcast, or we talk a lot online and we go back and forth on, say, Twix, the Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook. That means I respect you. That means that I'm going to talk about you, and that I think that if you put something up, I'm going to share it. I will comment. I will like it. I will support you. That's what I do. Do I need it back? I don't. Why? I'm on Dr. Roto's network. And I have so much people right now that I talk to on so many different networks being an RDP hero and all those major things that, the list is never going to stop. I'm always going to have these passions to play fantasy football and to always run leagues or to be part of that or to give out great content, just like I did last year. I mean, I'm not going to, I will say I was great. My IDP articles were the best last year, the best. I gave out the best players. Yeah, maybe somebody wrote a whole 5 paragraphs on Aaron Donald and now Aaron Donald retired. I don't need to worry about that. That's for them to do if they want to do that. If I want to do it, I can do it. I have the platform, I have the support. So it's up to me to spread that support as well. And that is what I do. So when I always talk about support, when I talk about how other people and I see other people and how they get treated sometimes, it makes me mad. It makes me go, hey, well, if you're gonna pussyfoot around the whole thing, then I'm gonna step in and say, yeah, they got clicks. People would rather go under a negative comment post like that rather than share or bring the pain about music. And that's because people love negativity. And we don't do that on Planet Painbringer. We talk about love, we talk about music, video games, we talk about sports, podcasting, life, hobbies, painting rocks, making shaker bottles, taking walks, going to Niagara Falls, feeling the ions, huh? Yeah, let them heal. Because a lot of you need healing. You should support people. You should definitely like, comment, follow. That's all it takes, people. That's all it takes. But I've already had this podcast. Let's move along. Let's move along. All right. Today is March 19th. March 19th, 15 years ago, I lost my mother. And 1 month ago, I lost my brother. And that's been pretty tough. I went to this tournament with so many emotions. Have I've been snappy at work because I have so much going on. I'm thinking about my mom. I'm still dealing with my brother. And, like what made it really easy for me to deal with my brother was my tournament because it gave me something to look forward to. It gave, between all the podcasts I listened to, the video game podcast, Talk is Jericho podcast, and everything else, just finding new podcasts like the one that I got that does, uh, they do Mandarin films. They just review Mandarin films. Like I just listened to the one for Fist of Legend today. Amazing, amazing stuff, So, when I see those guys and, I listen to these podcasts, it heals me. And so I had that focus, and now that focus is gone. And now I was faced with a reality. I have to face this day, the 15-year anniversary of my mom passing, the 1 month of my brother. And I can only think, I just had today, I had a picture pop up of all three of us. And I'm like, dang. And the picture it was my mom's birthday because April 8th is her birthday. And I bought 3 books for her. And because my mom loved to read. And so I was like, okay, well, I said, Tommy, I'm going to give you this book. And he was really thankful of that. That was things that a big brother does for a little brother. The times that I care, it's why he was always my protector because I did so much for him. I meant so much to him and he meant so much to me. So I did give my mom the VC Andrews one. My mom always loved VC Andrews. And then there was a Stephen King book and there was another book. So I got 3 books and the picture is on my Facebook. It's of all three of us. We're all holding the books and my mom's so happy. And my brother's so happy. He was so sad. He didn't have a job. He didn't know how to get money. And sometimes he just didn't have that opportunity because if he would mow lawns, maybe I already mowed that person's lawn. So he lost out sometimes. He had to go find his own clientele when he mowed lawns, things like that. So Tommy, he was so thankful that I was able to do that. So you see a picture like that and you can just celebrate them. celebrate them with video games, celebrate them with the VGM music podcast. Like I still haven't did a podcast solely about my mom. That's coming soon. But I have some other podcasts coming up too. So I don't want to really like mourn this one out. I just want to say, thanks to everybody that listened to my podcast about my brother and all of my recent podcasts. I always want to say thank you to all of my pain bringers. You all have made Bring the Pain so much bigger than it was. I mean, I kept losing these customers between football and baseball, and then mostly football season, because I would just wasn't. I would just be like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just done podcasting right now. People will be back next year, but they weren't. They weren't. They wanted more content like this. And so now you get all this content. You get the sport content. You get the betting content. You got my supporters club where you have all my things that make me a jerk. Oh yeah. Because I like to be the jerk now, brother. Yeah. And then you have my new thing. Yes, I will deliver you a pizza. Man, you got so many new things that are going on right now at Bring the Pain. There's no other podcast that can cover it because all podcasts always stick to one tune. I don't have to stick to a tune. I don't toot anybody's toot. I toot my own horn because Heat Override don't care. He just does what he does. He wants to do what he does. And if anybody's got a problem with it, there's a disclaimer down there. There's a disclaimer up there, and they will tell you how to bring the pain. Oh, yeah. All right. So let's get this one wrapped up right now. I want to say thanks to everybody again. And so I got a huge podcast coming up. So on top of my sport podcast coming up, I have I got another hometown series guest coming on. I want to really get to this week, but man, I just might not be able to do it. I could definitely get all this done. And then I got my MLB betting coming up at drroto.com. Baseball starts this week. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have your draft yet? Because the games, right? So this is the time that you need to be getting over to Dr. Roto and using the code word doc to get that stuff, to get you 10% off your subscription. So you can join us in the Discord and talk baseball with us. Man, Lou's killing it. And talk everything else, college football. I say this all the time. Get to it. But I have my Pizza Bomber podcast finally. I'm just going to do it. I reached out to Jericho multiple times, multiple people that deal with him. I got nothing. And you know what? I don't need anything because I'm not Jericho. I'm not any of those guys that need to be paid attention to. But Jericho's never did a Pizza Bomber episode before. So you know what I'm saying? Maybe you should do a Pizza Bomber episode. Huh. And I'm your guy. Oh, yeah, Tooge. Dig it? Yeah. And that's something only the Pot of Thunder people know. Yeah. So, the Pizza Bomber was a big, big case in Erie, Pennsylvania. And there were so many things linked to it. First of all, my family's in the actual documentary. They're not the ones that, well, one of them did. This guy, Ken, I already know who all y'all already know who he is, right? That piece of shit. Yeah. He went to jail, but my grandma was in that. And the funny thing is they didn't even let any of us really know that our grandma was going to be in. So I just watched the Pizza Bomber and there's my grandma. Like, I'm like, it was like she came back from the dead because she's gone too. And she was like, hey, Bobby, I got to hear her laugh. So that was really cool about the documentary. There's a lot that the documentary missed. They didn't go into Kenny Barnes. They didn't go into a lot of people. I said his name. It's not like you can't fact check it anyway. I didn't say, they didn't talk about Kenny, but I have some dirt on Kenny that will shape this entire podcast and also the whole Pizza Bomber thing, the Evil Genius documentary. I have so much. I have this little extra stuff that is so fun to know, but I will tell you something. I got some stuff the FBI, the CIA, and the police do not know. And this comes from beyond the grave. This comes from somebody that already passed away. And so that means it's done. It's done. So I'm going to tell her story because I heard this story from my mom. So what? Oh, you have no idea of what's about to be said. And I know that all these people are gone. I don't mean them any ill effects, and I don't mean to affect their family, but I'm telling it. I'm talking about everybody in this thing. Rothstein was a teacher to me. I met Marjorie Deal Armstrong. She was my grandma's friend. Kenny was a piece of shit. I love the hell out of my grandma. But there's some things about her that you don't know, and not a lot of other people know. And that's the best part about this all, because it actually shapes why the pizza bomber happened. Why did it happen? Oh, you're gonna have to hear. You have to listen in, right? And then you want to end it off with, that's how we're gonna bring the pain today. I want all of you to stay tuned to get ready. I'm dropping the Pizza Bomber podcast this week. I mean, after that, you might need to start paying for podcasts or something, because you never know. People might come and knock in. And if nobody comes and knock in, I don't care. At least I know what I said is true, factual, and some of it's even been erased from the internet, from reporters that I gave stories to. This goes all the way to Sally Jesse Raphael. Man, that night was wild when I said that all my friends were dead. And everybody says, hey, you're out, you are talking way out of line. Am I? Because I'm not. Because everything I'm about to tell you on this Pizza Bomber podcast, I had witnesses to witness everything that went down. And because I have those witnesses, because we all know it's facts, because there's things that you don't even know, that the police, that nobody even knows, hey, it's time to let the world know how I'm going to bring the pain to the Pizza Bomber. Ooh, yeah. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Let's get weird. Let's shake this shit up. Yeah.